Just trying to leave Ross now. And people constantly try getting into the outdoor. It's fucking weird. It's always like I go to leave and I'm facing off with like this group of people always trying to get in. The indoor is like, it's real close to it. I mean, it's maybe like you couldn't really stretch your arm out and touch it, but it's right there. The in and the out. It's very clear what's what. But I don't know. It doesn't surprise me, it's just funny. The music in there is fucking awful. Oh my god. It's all a very particular kind of music, you know. I don't have to go into it again. I was listening to it, I'm thinking, this just reminds me of WILD. Now the only music in the world now is WILD music, but what it was is a station in Boston, AM station that we used to listen to when we were doing our survey party, where civil engineering, you ever see those guys on the side of the road with the tripods? I used to do that shit. And we would have a different number of properties we'd work on during the day, and we'd drive around in the car and go from job to job, you know. And they used to crank this AM station called WILD, which was, at the time, and the station themselves would refer to themselves in this way, as black music. It was a black music channel. So it was like all funk and soul, R&B, disco, and there was a sort of a low-key anti-white racism going on, which we thought was funny at the time, because, I mean, it didn't exist in the world back then. So it was kind of, it was just kind of endearing, you know? Fucking guy, asshole, almost hit that girl. People don't, that's the thing too, it's like, I kind of forget sometimes, I follow the rules, but the people driving the cars don't. Worst state for drivers. Like I was saying the other day, it's like they're either like fucking, they're petrified, or they think they're in a video game. And there's no in between. But yeah, so to us it was kind of funny. We listened to it as kind of like some kind of a joke, you know. But then the guys I was with, we started knowing all the songs and liking all the music, and it just became a thing we did. We'd, even when we got better stations or were upgraded in some way to like cassette or something, we'd still listen to the shitty AM, the WILD, you know. And when they would play songs that had like white artists involved, they wouldn't mention them. Like, hold on a second. The band Border, who just went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame actually, had I Want to Know What Love Is. They'd play that song a lot. And they wouldn't credit Foreigner, they would credit the choir that sings along with them. They did that a lot. They would just omit the white people. It's funny. Again, at the time, it was like fucking adorable, you know? You know, because it was like, yeah, fuck those, fuck whitey. Because it wasn't a real thing back then like it is now. Not only is that now a real thing, but everything is WILD. Every fucking store, all the charts. I don't think my people are allowed to be played in a public place anymore, because what it is, it's all corporate that make these playlists. Here in Hawaii, we used to have wine music. They got rid of that. Well, when they got rid of the wine during COVID, they figured, fuck those people. They're not here anymore. We don't have to play this shit. Let's play what the rest of the world's playing. WILD. So it's just these really bad, like, auto-tuned R&B, where everybody's overextending themselves in the vocals. And God forbid there's more than one singer. It's like at the end of that song, it's gonna fucking turn into like a competition between who can caterwaul the most dramatically. You know, because they want to, you know, they want to be the one going, ah! So the other one's like, ah! It's like, holy fuck. Oh. The Irish make good R&B. Way better than you know, these other people do. Because it's soul music. And it requires a component that the Irish have that the other people don't. I'll leave you to figure that out. But yeah, it's just, it's funny, like, it's not just in the music, but everything in culture. White people have sort of become the underdog, like the underground, like everybody hates them, and but we're still awesome at the same time, and like that's undeniable. So it's a cool paradigm. It's like I feel like the high elves in like Dungeons and Dragons. Everybody hates them. They think they're all snooty, and they think they're better than everyone else. But at the same time, they kind of are. You know what I mean? The high elves I'm talking about. So it's like, it's very much like that. I like this, because I've always been, you know, a guy outside of regular, I guess, society, you know. A rock and roller, subversive sort of dude. I did all the things, you know, all the degenerate shit, you know. I was a fucking transvestite for a while. Pretty crazy shit. Like I went through all that stuff, you know, for music and to be an artist. And now I look at that and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I wish I could just have normalcy in the world. Like when I was in the golden days for me, like the 1980s, when everything was brighter and everything was cleaner. And shit, man, the only thing you really worried about were like the fucking tough kids. Or the town drunk who would go off once in a while. Like tough people, like, don't mess with them. But they weren't going to kill you. No one was stabbing each other, robbing each other. It just wasn't like that. Not in my area. Sure, it was always like that, of course, in the inner cities. I mean, you just didn't go to those. And they weren't really a part of culture. So you never really saw it. Unless you're watching, like, Death Wish or something. So it's like, this is old man reflecting on the changes of the world. And now it must make our small-hatted friends like aroused at the way things are going. But the thing is, they may have did it with culture and music and things and advertisements and companies and corporations and DEI, and that they're trying to kind of phase us out. But like, there's still a lot of us here, and we're pretty awesome. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's reality, and then there's the reality they want. Now, in a couple generations, who the fuck knows? I mean, I don't think it's gonna go that long. I don't think we're going that much longer. You know, I think we're gonna see this come to its logical conclusion. I don't know why, but I just kind of feel that way, that we will see an end to all this. And there's this other theory that I saw someone talking about recently that I used to talk about, or I think I did a video about it, where everyone lives to see the end of times. Like, sometimes you think like, oh, people in the 1800s, they have no idea, they were so far away from the rapture of what, not, you know, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know about that whole rapture thing, honestly. But they were so far away from the end of days. Everybody gets to see it. It's hard to know how to explain. It's just like no one dies really. We all have to go at the same time, because this area we're in here that I'm walking around in is the only dimension with time. It doesn't exist anywhere else. So when you die, even though it seems your presence has departed here, it hasn't really gone anywhere, because we all have to go at once, because we're all one fucking consciousness. Those of us that are tied into the consciousness. There's all these fucking people walking around out here that aren't in any way connected to that. That's the 95%. If you were in the 95%, you wouldn't know it, and you wouldn't be having these kind of conversations like what we have here. You'd be hearing this kind of stuff and going, oh, meds, take them, like the JIDF does all the time. I see them on YouTube too, like in YouTube comments doing that. You know, they do the same thing on 4chan. You always know it's them. Like, they try to force these memes that are just not funny. But then again, like, they're getting paid to do it. And they're sitting in like a giant room with like 20 other stinky guys. But they stink too, so would they notice? Probably not. But, you know, they're not going to try that hard. So they use the same shit over and over again. So the meds take them. And that's why sometimes I've named videos like meds not taken edition. Things like that. I got off the meds. I was on the meds for a while. It improved my life 1,000-fold. That shit kills you. It really does. I was on 11 at one time. When I first got out of the nut hut, I was on 11. That's the other thing too. People like me that talk about this a lot of us have had some kind of mental health issue that's known about either publicly or with their family, which is pretty convenient because then it just makes anything you say just kind of, you know, those guys crazy. So give a fuck what he thinks about it. They mark you when you're young. You know, I've talked about this before, where they figure out if you're one of us, these 5% people, when you're very young. There's a lot of ways they do this. One of them is, remember those magazine things like, can you draw this fox guy, or can you draw this turtle? And then you submit your stuff. They point you out through art. If you're good at copying something or putting down a piece of art that is not so much good, but close to what you're looking at. If you can copy something in your mind, it means that you can hold the image in your mind and do it. Because even if you're looking at something, you still have to, when you look at something to draw, right? Even though it doesn't seem like it, you seem like it's a 1-1 thing, like, oh, I'm looking at this, this line goes here, this line goes, no, what you're doing is you're recreating that in your mind. And you're pulling from your mind, not from the paper. I hope I explained that correctly. An artist could probably tell you, like a real, you know, even Ben Scarver could tell you. He could tell you a lot of things. He's a good man. He's one of us. Well, kind of. I don't know if he's a 5%er, but he's definitely a person of the light. Yeah, I don't mind being the underground race. They're just kind of cool. But yeah, it's just, you know, there's what they want, and then there's objective reality, and there's just no way, you know, that they're going to achieve what they want. The only way I think they could do it, and I get fucking off the path before, is by mixing people up, like race mixing, which is really what they want. That's why they always push into racial relationships and stuff, but this and that. So by doing that, they'll just weed us out. But that's going to be a while. You know, like, say this fucking timeline here lasts another 50 years. It's got to be about that. You know, because there's too many of us. And, you know, they really need us to keep things, the systems running. You know, because when you build civilization, you kind of run it the best. You know, the other people that come in to try to run your shit, they're just kind of copying you. And they don't care as much. When you don't make something, when you fucking rent a house, you don't fucking give a shit if you fucking dump paint on the fucking wall. You know, you're like, oh, whatever, clean it up when we're out of here. You know, you when you own something, when you build something, when something belongs to you, you take more pride in it, you care about it, you work it better. You know, I see some of the DEI hires going on at some of these companies. Terrifying, man. Some of these pictures of these flight crews, and it looks like a joke. It looks like a TV show or something. You know, they have all these ladies combing their hair, like doing this hair thing. All of them sit in the front. And I'm like, is this AI? And no, it was like a real plane. I think that people should be allowed to see that. Like, if I got onto a plane and I realized that was the flight crew, I would fucking probably try to jump out and take my chances with falling. I mean, seriously, that's people should know. They should have to be shown your captain and your fucking flight crew, and then make your decision, and then decide. You know, because I was watching this thing the other day where this pilot took he was landing on this kind of hard to land on airstrip, like it's a dangerous airport, and he had to do this bank right before the plane landed. I guess it's a really dangerous place to land, and he fucking nailed it. This old white dude and this Asian dude who's co-pilot. I'm like, those are the guys you want landing at this airport. And I'm thinking of like a third world of doing that. Oh, they'd be dead. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way a third world woman and a third world woman called the gaggle of girls with the fucking things, combs in their hair. No. I think they probably don't make them. They put someone else on that route. But that's like a thing. Like, you don't be too hasty to get rid of capable people that fast, because it's conceivable there would be planes falling out of the fucking sky. And worse. It's gonna be fine though. It's all gonna work out. It's funny to watch. It's fun to meme on. I'll be back out later to meme on some people. Ah, it's so fucking crazy here. One of these days I gotta get like a 360 camera so you can see the stuff happening around me. You wouldn't believe it. Just put it on the top of my head. Just walk around. Doot, 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 doot. This is like on the fucking top of my head. Thanks for dropping in, guys. Sorry I called you guys. Until next time, don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.